Look now, gallery. There we go.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay.
Okay. So, shall we start, Bhante?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, um, good
So,
evening.
um, so
Sorry.
carry on.
Yeah. So, okay.
Oh,
So, thank you, Bhante. So good
yeah.
evening, everyone. So my respect to Bhante Bodhidhamma. First of all, our deep appreciation to Bhante Bodhidhamma for giving us this wonderful opportunity to learn and practice meditation with you. So I am Sujan, and only a resident monk at the moment in our center in Warapunya Meditation Center in Aberdeen. And this is in West Hill near Aberdeen City, city. So it takes about 20 minutes drive if you are driving. So, and we have been running meditation sessions here in the center, as well as in Health Village and other charities, and also in different places. So, and it is our intention to invite different monks and nuns and other members who has been meditating uh, and have a good knowledge to inviting them to give us this profound knowledge, and so we can learn. So today we are very fortunate to have Bhante Bodhidhamma. So today is the this is the first meditation session of 2025. So you're very lucky. Yeah? So welcome to this one. So first of all, let me give you a brief introduction. Now, although Bhante Bodhidhamma has a long history and been a monk for many years. So Bhante was ordained around in his 30s. He professionally before he was a teacher and drawn to Christianity and even wanted to become a priest, and then somehow got to know the with life. I got to know Buddhism and then carried on with the Buddhist studies. And after coming to Buddhist meditation, he became a Buddhist monk and studied with different meditation masters, well-known meditation masters, particularly from Myanmar, and then spent lots of many years meditating alone in Sri Lanka before he came back to UK and was teaching at the Gaia House, one of the meditation centers, and then decided to establish Satipanya Meditation Center for the serious meditation practitioners. So if you are looking for a serious meditation practice, and that is the place to go. Okay. So you got the connection.
Absolutely.
That's you got the connection with the Bhante now. So no need to worry that you will be alien. So just go and practice with Bhante. Okay. I think there are so many things to talk about Bante, but rather
Thank
than
you.
wasting time telling about Bante's history,
Yeah.
I think we better go to our practice. So
Yeah.
today's practice, Bante has suggested that first of all we'll have taking a refuge, and then Bante will lead guided meditation, and then metta bhavana, and then some question and answer. So with
Okay.
this, I will hand over it to Bante Bodhidhamma. Thank you, Bante.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, I don't know how amazing I'll be, but we'll see. Now, most of you are not on screen. I'd love to see you all. It's like talking to an empty space. Thank you. Wonderful. Yes. There we are. There's people. Very good. Very good. I wonder if I know Drew. Do I know Drew? I know the name.
No, Venerable sir, you don't know me.
Uh,
We live in London, uh,
Maybe
West London.
in West London. So you're going to the Vihara in Turnham Green.
We go there. We used to go there. We still go there. We go to Kingsbury and also to Sri Sambodhi
Ah,
at East London, so we go everywhere really.
Okay, maybe
The
that's where
meditation center, East London, there's a meditation center, so we go there too.
it's just I was at the Vihara in London for a while. That's all.
Yes, that's right. That's
Yeah,
during the old monk, isn't
that's
it?
right.
I think, yeah.
Ajuranyani. No,
No,
can't
before
remember.
that.
Before that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I really want to know is how many of you already have a practice in meditation? Have you all got a practice? Yeah, show of hands, you've all got a practice.
Yes.
Raj, yeah.
Mm.
Ranji, yes, you've all got a practice.
Yes.
Well, there's no reason why you shouldn't carry on with that. But what I'll do is I'll just give very basic instructions on the Mahasi method of meditation. And it's basically it's about noting, right? Uh, whether we like it or not, whenever we experience something, there'll always be some sort of positioning of it in a concept. Every time you see an apple, the reason why you know it's an apple is because you already have a concept of an apple. So by using simple words, we're trying to get this quality of intuitive intelligence, this quality of intuitive awareness out of its confusion with the intellect. So we use a word, but the attention is always directed towards feeling, emotional feelings, moods, and sensations in the body, right? So that's where your attention goes. Okay. So we'll begin. And I always like to start with refuges and precepts. So, the refuges are really there to give us confidence. I mean, we're only doing what the Buddha did. There's nothing, we're not doing anything that he didn't do. And that gives us great confidence. And the Dharma, through our own practice and reading, we also grow in confidence and then recognizing that, there are still people who attain arahatship in the world. There's one or two in Thailand, for instance, Ajahn Ganha, if you want to visit him. So it's important to know that there is, the Dharma is still working. It's still producing arahats, sotapannas, non-returners, and all that. Few and far between, but there we are. You can't you can't have everything. So I'll begin with the reps and precepts, and then and the precepts, of course, are just basic. Like it's just where we don't want to go. And we're trying to refine our behavior, whereas before we might have been killing all sorts of creatures, we're now protecting them. So that's how we turn away from that sort of behavior towards what is beautiful and virtuous. Okay. And then I'll give some sort of just basic instructions. So if you don't want to follow them, that's fine. Just carry on with what you're used to. Okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Somebody, can you make sure your sound is off? Can you knock your sounds off, please? Yeah, the little, else it sounds awful. My voice is bad enough. Yeah, you see the little sound thing it'll be down at the left, audio. If you can just knock that off. That's it. Yeah, try again, audio. That's it. Arjun, thank you. Varuna, right, okay, we're all off, I think. Fantastic. Namo tassa bhagavato harahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato harahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato harahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi bodhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi bodhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panati pata veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Adina dana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Kame sumi chachara veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Musawada veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Suramaraya majjapamadhatana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Okay, so now make sure that your posture is expressing the awakened heart. So the accent is on your back, you see, lifting up the spine, up through the top of the head. That's the only energy you need, just lifting up the body through the spine. And then just spend a moment relaxing, just relaxing the brow, eyes gently closed, the jaw, waggle it about a bit if you find it tense, or clench your teeth and then relax. The jaw should just hang loose. And then the shoulders, lots of tension in the shoulders usually, give them a good squeeze. And then just your hands on your lap, whatever's comfortable. Just acknowledge that posture now. An energized spine, everything else relaxed. If during the sitting, the body becomes tense, just relax it. If you find yourself falling asleep, nodding, keep lifting that spine. So it's this balance between effort and calmness. So these are factors of enlightenment, effort, and tranquility. So if we just now bring the attention to the breath, wherever you feel it most. In this particular tradition, we prefer the breath in the body, the arising and falling of the abdomen. But that doesn't particularly matter. And if you wish, you can use just a small noting word, which keeps your attention there. So rising, falling, if it's at the nostrils, in, out, out. Your attention is always towards sensations. Just resting the attention on the breath, that's all. Feeling it. Rising, falling. If the mind is wandering, just note what's actually driving it. We're not interested in stories. Is the mind worrying? Is the heart planning something exciting? What's it doing? And acknowledge it. Worrying, worrying, planning, planning. Then draw the attention back to the breath and relax upon the breath. If already you're beginning to feel a bit sleepy or tired, keep lifting the spine. And you can always open the eyes, let the light in, but keep the attention inward. Relaxing the attention on the breath, just allowing it to bring silence to the mind, calmness to the heart, and stillness to the body. Rising, falling. The mind is wandering. Don't get caught up in those stories. Stay close to the feeling of it. Is it an angry story? Is it a happy one? Is there happiness in the heart? So acknowledge it. Anger, anger, happiness, happiness. And then draw the attention back to the breath. Feeling sleepy or tired, keep lifting that spine, open the eyes. And of course, you can stand up and do this. As you become more concentrated, more focused, see if you can catch the very beginning of the in-breath. Stay with it to the very end. The very beginning of the out-breath. Stay with it to the very end. If when you do this, you find yourself getting tense, Sit back within yourself. Have the impression of receiving the information. Rising, falling. Sometimes it takes a little longer to become focused, to become relaxed. But here, when the mind wanders again, instead of coming back to the breath, come into the body. See if you can feel the emotion or mood. So there might be sadness, some story about sadness in our lives. So we come into the body and we feel the sadness. We might have a happy memory. So we let go of the memory and we come in and feel the happiness. In the same way with the body, we might feel a discomfort in the back or the knee or whatever. If the attention is drawn to it, we go there, we feel it. We don't choose what to feel. It's whatever draws our attention within that field of awareness. If the mind becomes too busy, begin with the breath. So we begin with the breath, and then whatever draws your attention, go to it, feel it. Rising, falling. becoming more aware of how we are reacting to what we're experiencing. When something is pleasant, we're drawn towards it. We want to maintain it. We want to make it grow. When something is unpleasant, we first of all try to ignore it, and then we push it away. And if it's too big, we become frightened. This reaction the Buddha points to as the direct psychological cause for our suffering. Is that true for you? Everything we're experiencing is a process. Everything's arising and passing away. Something appears and then vanishes. Nothing remains. Nothing repeats itself. Each breath is similar, but not the same. Is there anything you can rely upon? And we see that everything we're experiencing is an object. If you're standing in front of a tree, you know you're not the tree. If you're standing in front of somebody, you know you're not that person. Can you make the distinction within yourself that there is something which is observing and something which is being observed, something which is feeling and something which is being felt? You can make that clearer by using a little word like there, if you're using the noting technique. So there's a pain in the knee. There's happiness. And there's this that knows it. Can the observer be the observed? Can the feeler be the felt? When we are practicing Vipassana, we have found within ourselves a sort of observation post. And we notice that everything is happening of its own accord. Images and thoughts come to the mind. Moods, emotions come from the heart. Sensations and feelings arise in the body of themselves. We haven't asked for them, they just come. They're not under our direct control. How can they be me? We have now drawn our attention to the three characteristics of existence: the cause of suffering, desire, impermanence, and the fact that everything we experience is an object not under our control, not self. And now we have to have complete confidence in this intuitive awareness, to allow it to make its own direct insights. It is this process of investigation that is the process of liberation, liberation from delusion. So now all we have to do is sit back, just observe, just feel, directly experience whatever draws the attention within that field of awareness. Don't do anything. Don't try and change anything. Just watch. Just feel. That's enough. When we come to the end of a sitting, it's always good to spend just a moment reflecting on our practice. How diligent was I in bringing myself back to the present moment? Well, if I thought I was pretty diligent, then I should congratulate myself. Well done. If I thought I could have been more diligent, I was a bit lazy, then I should warn myself that this is wasting time. But don't get into self-criticism. I'm useless. I'm awful. That's no good at all. We must encourage ourselves. Which of those three characteristics of existence was most obvious to us? The role of desire, wrong desire, impermanence, not self, not me, not mine. And how did we deal with the various hindrances that came up? Did we know what to do? Were we skillful? We can just choose one of them. If we were skillful, we should acknowledge that and say, that's very good, we must carry on. And if we thought we could have been more skillful, then we should encourage ourselves. Make a determination. Next time we sit, we won't give in to tiredness. And just opening the eyes gently. Ah, I'm sorry that took so long. It's very difficult to make it any shorter, really. So anyway, I hope it sort of made you more enthusiastic about your practice. So what I'd like to do is to ask you to send me ideas or questions that interest you, and I'll try to fit them in over the next few weeks. So I'm going to just put my my email in the chat box. Yeah, it's very simple. Can you see it? Just bbbodhi@gmail.com. And if you just send me, ideas that you might like to explore a bit more, doesn't really matter. I can't promise I'll cover them, but it'll give me some direction.
Bhante, can I make a
Yes,
suggestion?
please.
Yeah, Bhante, I have met you before, Bhante. My wife and I did retreat at Kaya House many, many years ago.
Oh, there we are.
And we came up to meet you to retreat to ask few questions.
Ah,
Now, I was just thinking one day, some of us in this group doesn't understand Pali. So when you do refuges and precepts, will it be possible to do in Pali as well as in English?
yeah, I can do. I can do. On that question, you don't you don't have to be a Buddhist to take these refuges and precepts. They're more to do with attitude. So if you're going to practice in the way the Buddha wants us to practice, then it's good to, have a little bit of confidence in him.
Yeah.
And it's good to have a little confidence in the teaching, you see. And it's good for our confidence to know that, well, the practice works. It does work.
Yeah.
And the precepts are pretty straightforward, not to kill living beings. Some people translate that as not to harm, but it's actually not to kill, uh, and not to take what is not freely given, not to misuse. It's usually translated as our sexual appetite, but karma can also mean all appetites. In other words, it's not to overindulge, including food, and then not to tell lies. You see, to be truthful. And then finally, not to put anything into the body which is going to upset our level of awareness. It's not, so pretty. So these are very basic for anybody doing any spiritual practice. You know, you can't get anywhere if you've got alcohol in you swilling around your brain. You know.
Yeah. The reason I asked is, I was talking to my nephew. What did you learn about Buddhism? He said, we learn our precepts. I asked him, can you repeat it? He said, he did it in English, in Pali. I said, can you explain in English? He said, he doesn't know. He can repeat it in Pali, but he doesn't know what he is repeating.
Well, that's you see, then it becomes an empty ritual. See, this is the
exactly. So if we can just do, I'm sure Bhante was in Amravati also. I used the precepts and refuges they use in Amravati. So sometimes they use in English, sometimes they use both. So if you can use both Pali and English.
Yeah, I don't actually know the chanting in English because I like to chant, you see.
No, just the precepts and refuges. Yeah. Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, now my job. Anybody else would like to say something? Is there any way people could show themselves? It's always a bit odd to have just blank spaces. Everybody's beautiful. We all want to see you. There we are. That's wonderful.
Sorry, I was just going to say. My camera doesn't seem to want to show me, so I'm sorry about that.
No problem. Is it, if you look down to the left, is there a cross through the camera, the video?
Yes, there is, but it's saying, what does it say? It said, I hope I've uncrossed it, have I? No, there's a message coming up. I think it's saying unable to access camera because
okay.
something. Yeah. And I'm sitting in the dark anyway, so there you are.
Never mind.
I've got a question though. Is that okay to ask it?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
It's more of an observation. You said three things that really caught my mind. The first one was nothing can be relied upon, which was beautiful. But could we expand on that? And the second thing was the observer, observed, did you say the watcher and the watched or something? Anyway, you switched them around, which was very interesting because then the me and mine concept from this side switches to the other side, which is actually very interesting because my concept of me and mine does arise from the observed. Say my arm was hurting, that pain was actually becoming in my mind, that was me. It wasn't just mine, it was actually me. So I need to go into that. So those are the two things I wanted to ask. There was something else, but I don't remember it right now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bhante.
What we're looking for, you see, the Buddha says that there is within us this nibbanic element, right? Some people like to call it the Buddha within. And we're trying to find out, well, what is it? What is it? And he says that nibbana is completely reliable. It doesn't change, and there's no suffering. So he tells us a lot, you see. But somehow we have to experience that. We have to find out what it is. See? So by asking these questions of ourselves, it keeps pointing us to recognizing that everything we're actually experiencing is just not reliable. It arises and passes away. As soon as you've got something in your hand, it disappears. And slowly it dawns upon us what it is that we can rely upon. Now, I'm not going to tell you have to find it.
That requires a bit of faith, though, does it? Because everyone outside Buddhism would know that everything passes away. That's a kind of impermanence in a worldly sense. So if I go around saying, "Oh, Buddha found this out," that will be, "Oh yes, we all know that," kind of thing. And the Nibbana is the only reliable thing. If I even tell myself that, I have a question. Obviously,
Yeah.
I have to give myself time to see it. Is that the concept I'm going home with?
Exactly that. You see, you keep looking and looking, and at some point it'll dawn upon you what it is that's always there.
Okay, thank you, Bhante. Thank you very much. And the other bit, about observer and the observed, the switching
Yes,
around.
well, that's right. What we're doing is we're distancing from everything we're experiencing. We're pointing to it. So that's one of the blessings of noting, because every time you note something, you can't be it. You've turned it into an object that you're looking at, you're experiencing. See? And as you do that, you begin to realize that you've removed your sense of identity. So, as you said, the pain in the knee or whatever, you become that pain in the knee. So, for one moment, you are the pain in the knee. For instance, when you're eating and you bite your tongue, for one delicious moment, you and the tongue are one.
Yes.
That is identity. And then you jump out of that and you're angry with yourself. You know,
Yes.
how did you, right?
Yes.
So now you've become an emotion. And when your mind wanders off on thinking and dreaming and fantasizing and arguing and all that, you become your head, you become your thinking.
Yes.
But here, when you sit and observe all that, you've discovered a different identity. And that identity is the observer, the feeler.
Yes.
But unfortunately, you're aware of that too.
Yes.
So
yes,
you
but
can't be that. You can't be
No.
the observer or the feeler.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to
both
investigate.
sides.
So you have to
Yes.
investigate that. You have to draw your attention to the feeler, to the experiencer. Something's happening there, which is creating a false sense of self.
Sure.
See?
Yes. Yes. I
And
understand.
at some
Thank you,
point,
Bhante.
at some point
Yeah.
it'll dawn upon you.
So what we are following, what we are chasing after, this self that we are so bent on attaching to, cannot be found anywhere.
Well, it can. This is the problem, but it's false. Yeah, you
Yeah.
see?
Yes.
As soon as
Yes.
you are the pain in the
Yes.
knee, that's
Yes.
yourself. But it's
Right.
false. Right.
Yes. Yes.
So the Buddha,
Yes.
you see, the Buddha doesn't, his teaching does not deny that there's no self. That's a wrong understanding. In the discourse that he gives, it's so-called the second discourse on not self. He doesn't say there's no self. You see, he just says, look, if you look at something and you see you've not got power over it. So he says, look at your body. Can you make it bigger? Can you make it smaller? You see? So if you can't do that, how can it be a self? How can it be me? How can it be mine?
Yes. Yes.
So he's not denying that there's a self. He's just saying that the feeling of a self is false. Yeah, it's a delusion. It's a delusion, you see. And we're chasing that. We're investigating it to see, is there anything real behind that? Which he says there is. He says there's something real there. He calls it nibbana, but he has other ways of pointing to it. So again, it's a mistake to think that there's nothing there at all, a sort of a clever way of expressing annihilation. He's dead against annihilation. Right?
Sure. Yes. Yes, Bhante. Isn't Nibbana the realization that there is where there is nothing reliable, as you say? The realization itself can be termed Nibbana?
The realization, no, that realization is an insight which draws you towards what it is that knows that. So remember, the word Buddha means the one who knows, the knowing.
the knowing. Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
See.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you so much. There's a lot to think about. Thank you.
Oh, not too much, I hope. Are there any more questions about that, the practice that we just did? Very good. Well, I think we've gone beyond our little time here. So next Thursday, if you send me some ideas, I'll talk about them. I'll try and fit it into some small teaching. And I don't know whether you want me to do a guided meditation again. We might just sit for half an hour and just practice as you will. Is that a good idea? Yeah. Yeah. Is that? Yeah. Nod vigorously if that's a good idea. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I think it would be good to have a short guided meditation, Bhante.
Even so. Okay. Well, the thing is that but my problem is once I start going through it, it always takes me at least 40, 50 minutes, you see.
Okay.
Well, I can remind you of what the process is and then take it from there. I can do a little introduction to get you into it, and then you follow it through. Okay. And then next week we'll also do metta because I couldn't fit it in, but we'll do the practice, then some discussion or whatever, and then we'll end the process with metta. That's important. Yeah. And just a final word on that. Whenever we practice Vipassana, we're developing this quality of equanimity, right? So you notice that the social virtues, love, compassion, joy, are not there, right? They would actually get in the way, right? So the problem with developing equanimity is that if we don't watch it and we go into society with equanimity, it very easily moves into a sort of indifference, even an apathy, you see. So that's what we call the near enemy of equanimity. So we undermine that by re-engaging at the end of a practice. And that's the purpose of better practice. We re-engage. Yeah. I once had a young woman came and said that her partner always complained that after she sat meditating, she was very cold. So I said, do you do any metta afterwards? She said, no. I said, well, do some metta and bring him to mind and see what happens. So I presume, well, she never came back. So she must, I presume it worked. Okay. So until next week, can I wish you all a very, very peaceful sleep tonight and a great and lovely, fruitful week ahead. Can I leave you with a little blessing? It's a very regular one. Wishing you to enjoy great good fortune, that all the powerful beings protect you, and that you receive the blessings of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata sabba buddhanu bhavena sabba dhammanu bhavena sabba sanganu bhavena sada soti bhavantu te.
Sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
sadhu.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you
night.
very much.
Bhante.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good night, Ajahn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone, so nice. Everyone, so.
No, yes.
Thanks.
Very good night, everyone.
Yes, I'll wait for you all to go. I like to wave.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good night.
Thank you.
Toodaloo.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone, so nice. Everyone, so nice.
Thank you, Ajahn Sujan.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you very much. Thank you very much, Bhante.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Ranjani.
Anjani.
Ranjani.
Yes.
Bhante Raja.
Yeah.
They don't know how to think Shamatha, Shanta, Raja. I think they're staying on. Anyway, thank you very much, Ajahn. Wish you all the best. Yeah.
Thank you very much for your kindness. Thank you.
Yeah. Good night.
Night.
Ciao.